I'm going to go through some examples that you'll find in your Unit 8 packet so that we understand some of the concepts that I'm trying to key in on. Okay, let's review before we go and do these graphs. We're going to do problems 3, 4, and 5. We probably will have done these in class, but we're going to look at them again should you have not been in class or need to review it again. When I look at a HK equation, y is equal to a x minus h quantity squared plus k. I'm going to refer to the a to be the over 1 from the vertex and either up or down. Now, what that means is, if a is 1, we will go over 1 from the vertex left to right and go up 1. If a is 2, we will go over 1 and up 2. We double all the outputs we normally do. Now, let's just go back to the standard parabola. When we go ahead and graph the regular old y equals x squared parabola, remember, we would go over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, left 1, up 1, left 2, up 4. That would be the graphing points you would have plotted. For example, 1, 1, and then 2, 4. So if we could think of a parabola that is just shifted, and all the characteristics relative to its stretch will be the same as if we just moved it. Now, if the a is negative, that means it will reflect going down. And the over 1 and down points would be stretched or compressed accordingly. So I think if we do some examples here quickly, we'll find that these problems fit right into the patterns that we're seeing and how to do them pretty easily. Let's address the first one. Problem 3. That's going to be this first box. Problem 3. We've got the equation, the opposite of the quantity x minus 3 squared. Okay, the vertex will be 0, 3. The a is negative. That means it's going to go down. And I'm going to go over 1, down 1, and on both sides. And then that's the vertex. So we'll label our vertex is going to be 3, 0. And one of our shape points, I only want you to necessarily put one shape point, and that's good enough. And it would be 4, negative 1 would be the shape point. Now, let's put a nice little frown going down and just show the general position of the parabola going that way. Now, the vertex, remember, we're learning to label it accurately and then also putting the answers here. So the vertex would be the point 3, 0. The axis, and we're talking about the axis of symmetry. So I call it the A of S, axis of symmetry, would be now, let's go ahead and put that in, use our straight edge, and let's put a dashed line, and the dashed line should show all the way through. And when we go on our graph, we're going to label this with a little leader, and we're going to put A of S, and we're going to put x is equal to 3. So axis of symmetry, x is equal to 3 on our answer line. Okay, that's the first one. The next one, opposite quantity x plus 4 squared plus 3. That means our vertex, our h, is going to be at negative 4. Our k is 3. So I'm going to find negative 4, positive 3. Okay, there's our vertex. It goes down. So I'm going to go over 1, down 1. To the left, 1, down 1, since a is a negative 1. And I'm going to put in this parabola like so. I'm not going to worry about showing the intercepts right now. I just want to focus on this first skill. So I'm going to label my axis of symmetry on my drawing, and then I'll put a little leader here, and I usually try to put A of S outside of the parabola. So I'm going to come here high. A of S, x is equal to negative 4. Okay, my shape point, I wanted the vertex labeled. V is going to be negative 4, 3. And I want one shape point labeled. I'm not particular. I usually go to the right, but you don't have to. You could go to the left as well. So in this case, Remember, I went over 1, so I went to negative 3, and then I went down 1, so I went from 3 down to 2. So there's my shape point. Again, my vertex, I'll fill out my answer line, negative 4, 3, and my axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 4. Let's go to the fifth problem now. This is problem 4. Fifth problem is 2 times the quantity x minus 1 minus 4. Let's find h and k first. 1, negative 4 is going to be my vertex. Since a is positive, it's going to go up, and my over 1 up 2 now because a is 2. Left 1 up 2. So I put a little smiley here, and then I'm going to carry my parabola through that point, going up. There's my parabola. I'm going to go ahead next, get very routine. The next thing I'm going to always do is I'm going to put my dashed line in for my axis of symmetry. There's my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to go off the parabola, and I'll go a of s is x is equal to 1. I'm going to put my vertex with a v. I'm going to put 1, negative 4. I'm going to then label a shape point here, which in this case would be 2 for the x input for this shape point. And if it's unclear, put an arrow so that it points to it. Now remember, I went up 2, so I went from negative 4 to negative 2 for the y. Okay, that would be those 3 problems. I'm going to go ahead and go down, and I'm going to do problem number 7. I'm going to jump there and do that one. Again now, since there is x minus 0, quantity squared, my vertex is going to be at 0, negative 5. So I'm going to plot the point, 0, negative 5. It's going up because a is positive 1/2. So I'm going to realize that it's going to go up. My over 1 is up 1/2. And that's all I'm going to do is get this one shape point here, over 1, up 1/2. Over 1 on the left side, up 1/2. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a parabola. I'm not so concerned that you draw the whole thing. Now, let's go ahead and label the points. First of all, right on our y-axis, we're going to show our dashed. I usually like to put the dash just a little bit to the side so you can see it. But I'm now going to go ahead and put a of s, x is equal to 0. Oh, I just noticed on problem number 5 here, I forgot to fill out my answer line. So I'm going to jump right back up there really quick now that I noticed it and do that. 1, negative 4 for the vertex, and then the axis of symmetry is x is equal to 1. Okay, now I spotted that mistake. I left that off. I'm going to go back, finish this problem where my vertex now is going to be 0, negative 5. And my axis of symmetry is x is equal to 0, which is the y-axis. I'm going to finish up labeling now. My axis of symmetry I got done. My vertex. Now if I put vertex here in 0, negative 5, I know it's redundant, but I want you to get used to plotting and labeling your graphs. And then finally our shape point. So I want to make sure that I'm clear, so I'm pointing right to where my shape point is, and I'm going to put the coordinates of that shape point. Remember, I went over 1 to 1, and then I went up 1/2 from negative 5, so that would be negative 4.5. And this would be a case where you could write it either as 9/2 or 4.5. I think 4.5 would be a good way to do it. Okay, so let's drop down now and let's do number 10 and 11, the way I would like you to do them, okay? So we've talked about the general form, ax squared plus bx plus c. We've talked about completing the square. So let's go ahead and do that with this problem. Again, I'm going to go ahead and write x squared plus 6x. I know half of 6 is 3. I want to go ahead and add 9 to complete the square. I have subtract 9 to maintain the equality, and I'll put down minus 8. And then this is equal to x plus 3, quantity squared, minus 17. So therefore, the horizontal shift is left 3. Vertical shift is down 17. The vertex is going to be negative 3, 17. The axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 3. And it opens up because A is positive, and it's not narrower or wider because A is 1. So I'm just going to cross both of these off, and I'm going to put down same. Okay, I know I'm a little quick there, but let's go ahead and do the next one as well so you can see a couple examples here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and complete the square now, and it's going to be x squared minus 2x. Okay, I'm going to add in, okay, remember half of b would be negative 1. I'm going to square it, so I'm going to add 1 and subtract 1. So I maintain the equality. There I go ahead and bring the negative 5. Now I've completed a square, and I say x minus 1 quantity squared minus 6. Okay, we've completed a square and put it in HK format. The horizontal shift would be right 1, would be down 6. The vertex is going to be at 1, negative 6. The axis of symmetry would be x is equal to 1. Remember, the axis of symmetry is always the x-coordinate of the vertex, that equation. Now, does it open up or down? It opens up because A is positive, and because A is 1, it is no longer neither narrow or wider. It is cross them out, and we'll put the same. Let me also make sure I reiterate another thing before we forget. And you can always find the vertex by looking at the ABC equation. And then your x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be opposite b over 2a. And all you have to do then is put that value in to find the y-coordinate. And you could put in f of opposite b over 2a. So that means, let's go back and look at problem 10. So we knew the vertex was going to be at negative 3, negative 17. So I've got A is 1, and B is equal to 6. So opposite B, negative 6 over 2A is equal to negative 3. And that gave us our negative 3 for our H. Then if we take negative 3, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put in, well, what is y when we put in negative 3? And so that's going to be negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 plus negative 3 times 6 is negative 18 minus 8. And if we combine these numbers together, we notice that 9 minus 18 is negative 9, minus 8 is a minus 17. So that is another way you could do it. And if you're having trouble completing the square, let's make sure you memorize this relationship so that if you need to do a problem that way, you can do it that way. Okay, hopefully that helps you out if you need to understand what's happening from the discussion when we start out doing parabolas.